This is your gold, silver, and the miners update as of the AM of 1/6/2022.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my morning AM recap on Thursday, January 6th for gold, silver, and the miners. The action today is pretty, what I would consider demoralizing for long-term buyers and even the traders in the metals and miners section. But I'd like to talk about it in a sense of what I think is going on and what to expect. Again, if you're not a part of the Discord room, no worries, but always assume that there is an invitation in the description of this video, so that if you want to join and talk about this kind of stuff, please don't hesitate to jump in. And let's talk about what to me is the most interesting thing. So this was announced on Wednesday, and a record 4.5 million workers quit their jobs in November. Well, you know, that is an interesting headline, because if you think about the Federal Reserve and their dual mandate for low unemployment and inflation, they've always focused on keeping unemployment rate low. This can't help. And so one of the things that's interesting as we watch the market, and the reaction is then the very next day you had the Fed minutes, and the Fed minutes came out, and all they basically said was what? They repeated exactly the same response that they had from the December 15th meeting, which ultimately was a low for the metals. So on that note, let's think about what's potentially happening here. So I know maybe people who trade aggressively short term might be extremely frustrated by the action, which, trust me, I'm extremely frustrated by the action, because I don't think this is what should be going on based on that news. Because again, if more people are dropping out of the workforce, the Feds can't raise rates. I mean, there's the whole shenanigans of things that happen. And so you start with the dollar, which ultimately is one of the bigger things that I was paying attention to. And on that Wednesday move, I apologize, you had this doji. Now, what was, you can tell the dollar hit the upper resistance zone twice and it's backed off. I think ultimately it's going lower, so keep that in mind. But as of right now, we need to zoom in on, and again, if people get mad, I use the GLD and SLV because it's easier for me to draw it, because I do care more about the American market action versus the overseas action, because I'm ultimately trading. I don't like to trade the futures because I don't sleep well. I watch the stuff constantly, and when I have funds and indexes and stocks that can't move during the night, I sleep a lot better. So when you look at the gold action, you had this nice 3-day pop. You had that gap down, which was definitely concerning. And then yesterday's action, which, we talked about, was not ideal. Talked about it in the review as well, because you don't want to see a gap fill and then close at the lows of the days, because you basically are inactivating or invalidating a lot of action. Well, now what happens this morning? It's a gap down. Well, if you see this gap down, you're probably running scared shitless, wondering what the hell's going to happen next. And that's a reasonable feeling. However, one of the things I talk about with people is, it's going to relate to everything we go through: gold, silver, miners. Have stops and have a trade, and have a plan, because ultimately I think what might be going on here is what I call a knee bend. And a knee bend is, for example, like this: a big drop before you jump. And a knee bend predicates jumping, like in the physical form of the action. And so what the knee bend ultimately does is it shakes out the weak hands. It takes people who feel very confident about a move coming, it knocks them out, and then when a move starts running, they don't trust it. They can't buy it because they've been just so demoralized that they're not even willing to look at the stock, and then the stock or the ETF or whatever, the particular gold, silver, runs away without them. And that's pretty typical, in the sense that a lot of traders get caught in that, because they leverage heavily, say at a certain level, they don't ever take any profits, and then so when it pulls back, it emotionally frustrates them, so they feel like they just need to get out. So let's get into the GLD, because I think this is a knee bend. I think this will be a higher low. I could see 166.50 area. I could see this gap filling 166. We're we're almost there. So, I mean, anything's possible at this point. What I'd be looking for is what happens on the jobs numbers on Friday, because somehow if the jobs numbers are juiced and these drop, I think the market will buy the stuff because they know that's just a temporary thing. Because I still don't see how the jobs number can be juiced other than when you take people out of the workforce. Yeah, then maybe your rate looks better because your workforce number as a total has dropped. There's actually less people in the workforce. So adding a few 100,000 jobs, even though you take out people out of the workforce, is the way that they kind of manipulate the number. So looking at the bigger action again, big crazy, like the whole last year, wild and crazy. W pop. Now you're getting what I think is another little W here at backtesting a trend line. So watch again, if you're buying the GLD this morning, have a stop. I like silver down here. This thing to me is just screaming silly stupid. I mean, it filled the gap here. I was going to drop some Twitter stuff in the Discord room, but I'm just going to drop the video. If people are watching this stuff, they're watching this stuff. You fill the gap here. Again, nice bear trap. Look at the action. Long wick, rises, double bottom. Now we're getting back to highs. And again, this is why I always tell people, be very careful chasing stuff off the bottom, because you do get back test. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, but it happens. Let's jump into some of the names and let's just go right down the list. AG. This one's interesting because, again, you pop, now you backfill, you're gapping, you're at some levels where I think you can easily buy this for the long term. I don't think, I mean, again, you're looking at the VAP zone here. In the 10s just seems way too easy of a price to buy it with a stop. I like this SILV. This one's interesting to me. Again, you're filling the gap. It's at major long-term support. It's very obvious to see this 7 area, just no-brainer buy. Again, when I say no-brainer buy, have a stop. If you're wrong, you're wrong, you're gone. That happens. The Silge, again, filling the gap, getting back down in the 11s. All these things, again, are predicated on the prices holding. And again, if you like to trade from the point of probabilities, you have to think of what your risk versus your reward is here. If you're willing to risk a little to make a lot, I play those trades. That's what I look for. I don't try to look for certainty. I look for the best balance of risk versus reward. Pass, again, if it can fill this in this 22 area, seems like a no-brainer. Our friend KL is getting whoosh, slappered. Again, that's a higher high. That's a bull trap. And now backfilling, I think, 39 seems very logical. Yep. Barrick Gold, same kind of thing. You're chopping. You have this big ass like consolidation base down here. Again, if you look out, you zoom out on the bigger charts, you see where it doesn't really even look like much. But that's just that's just the emotions of the days, how they play out amongst the charts. The GDX, now this is getting silly stupid again. Again, when it got down to 28s, we talked about the alert here. Well, how do you have a gap down and you're filling this little baby gap right here? Keep an eye on it. Now, again, wherever you're buying, know that you don't have to enter all at once. You don't have to go all or nothing. You can partially trade. And then let's end it with the GDXJ. I mean, here's again, you're filling these gaps here. I mean, this is all should be red alerts to you in the sense that if you're all in, yeah, this sucks. If you have powder to dry, this is where you're starting to add back. You're starting to think about pulling the trigger. And the reason why you should think about it is because the levels matter. The risk versus the reward is the key. That's what you're looking for. Now, again, when you zoom out on all this stuff on the monthly, you see you're at very interesting areas. You're at typically support. Again, could you get back down to the 100 month? That'd be great. Look at the GLD. Notice what's going on. It's tightening up below this channel, or a downtrend. I apologize. It's a big cup and handle. Silver holding on to this monthly 20 area. Again, I mean, this is all the stuff that you look at first before you dive in, because then it releases the nerves and the tension to take stabs. So if you like this kind of commentary and understanding of the markets, again, I'm not coming out here selling certainty. I'm trying to get you to look through the market as a probability lens of what makes sense, what's the best trades, what you should do based on what you see. Then check us out. Come by the Discord room. Please subscribe. This is the kind of stuff I'll be dropping consistently. I apologize if this is a long video, but again, there's a lot of things that need to be said. And if you're newer to trading, this needs to be heard. And if you're not, then you know what? Maybe it's just good to rehear it from someone else. And also, too, that you're just not alone on your thinking. So On that note, I will talk to you guys and gals later. Again, please subscribe, check out the daily recaps, all of the information that's always dropped around here. Trying to build a legitimate channel with content. So I appreciate you guys and gals.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.